Not everything you see in movies is real, but it's hard to fake chemistry. Or is it? These co-stars prove that you don't have to actually like someone to convince the world you're BFFs. What's a little leg licking between friends? You'll have to watch to the end to find out. During the filming of The Fate of the Furious, there was an alleged beef between two of the film's biggest stars, Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Just like in life, you have different philosophies and people have different philosophies, different fundamental philosophies on how you do things. And again, the most important thing is just the movies.
After the production, Johnson took to social media to praise only some of his co-stars, writing in a since-deleted post, "My female co-stars are always amazing, and I love them. My male co-stars, however, are a different story. Some conduct themselves as stand-up men and true professionals, while others don't." Although it was unclear exactly who The Rock was referring to, the aim of that jab most likely included Diesel. Diesel addressed it to clear the air, telling USA Today, "I don't think the world really realizes how close we are, in a weird way. I think some things may be blown out of proportion. In my house, he's Uncle Dwayne." Allegedly, Ryan Reynolds had trouble with Wesley Snipes during the filming of 2004's Blade: Trinity. But then again, apparently so did the entire cast and crew. Journalist Chris Perry, who at the time was working on an article about the production of the film, spent some time on the set and spoke to crew members anonymously. One source talked about Snipes and Reynolds' relationship, saying, "He refers to Ryan Reynolds as that or tell that to get out of my eye line, and tell that to get his lines right." Snipes reportedly was difficult with everyone on set, and there have been rumors that he even at one point strangled the film's director, David Goyer. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Goyer never confirmed the incident, but he did say, "I have tremendous respect for Wesley as an actor. He used to be a friend. We're not friends anymore. I don't think anyone involved in that film had a good experience. Certainly I didn't." 2000's Charlie's Angels was a box office hit, bolstered by a star-studded cast that included Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu as the Angels, and Bill Murray as the pseudo-manager Bosley. However, in reality, the team didn't seem as connected as they did in the movie. The story goes that there was a rewrite of one scene, and Murray wasn't happy with it. For some reason, he took his frustration out on Liu, despite her claiming not to have anything to do with the changes. She addressed the incident during an interview on the Los Angeles Times podcast, Asian Enough. According to Liu, Murray began insulting her and she didn't back down. She said, "I stood up for myself and I don't regret it, because no matter how low on the totem pole you may be or wherever you came from, there's no need to condescend or put other people down." The two have seemingly rekindled their professional relationship, but Liu still thinks she did the right thing in standing up to Murray. It's hard to pinpoint the exact reason for the long-standing feud between Sex and the City co-stars Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall, but it's clear that the two weren't the best of friends on set. In an interview with Piers Morgan, Cattrall explained why she didn't want to return for the reboot series, saying she had been portrayed as demanding or a diva in the press. She also singled out Parker's behavior.
"Is that I think she could have been nicer. I really think she could have been nicer. I don't know what her issue is."
Tensions escalated later when, after a death in the family, Cattrall posted a message on her Instagram directed at Parker. It read, "Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear, if I haven't already. You are not my family, you are not my friend, so I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona." At the same time, Parker has maintained that she never had it out for Cattrall, saying to Elle, "I don't think anybody wants to believe that I love Kim. I adore her. I wouldn't have done the movie without her." One of Meryl Streep's first starring roles was alongside another current veteran, Dustin Hoffman, in 1979's Kramer vs. Kramer. And Streep claimed to the New York Times that Hoffman went too far while filming. The incident happened during a scene in which Hoffman's character slapped Streep's, and apparently the slap was a little too real. Referring to the scene, Streep said, "This is tricky because when you're an actor, you're in a scene, you have to feel free. I'm sure that I have inadvertently hurt people in physical scenes, but this was my first movie and it was my first take in my first movie and he just slapped me. And you see it in the movie." For Hoffman's part, he did admit that he was difficult to work with during the production, and that his problems in his personal life affected his co-workers on set. Although they teamed up on screen, Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones weren't quite partners in crime on the set of 1995's Batman Forever, and much of that animosity came from Jones. According to Carey, there was one incident that spoke to Jones's feelings about him. During an appearance on the late Norm Macdonald's talk show, Carey explained that during a day off while filming the movie, the two happened to be sitting in the same restaurant. Carey decided to go over and say hello, which apparently wasn't something Jones wanted.
He went like to hug me and he said, "I hate you. I really don't like you."
Carey then asked what the problem was and said, "I pulled up a chair," which probably wasn't smart, and he said, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery." Of course, as the Riddler, Carey's character came with a certain amount of buffoonery. But apparently the man behind the green question-marked jumpsuit had a little too much silliness on set for Jones's liking. Marlon Brando and Sophia Loren starred alongside each other in the 1967 Charlie Chaplin-directed comedy A Countess from Hong Kong. According to Loren, Brando got a bit too touchy-feely, and she responded by letting him know that was not okay. She explained in her autobiography, Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow, My Life, writing, "All of a sudden he put his hands on me. I turned in all tranquility and blew in his face like a cat stroked the wrong way and said, 'Don't you ever dare to do that again. Never again.'" Although Brando didn't do anything like that again while filming the movie, it made the rest of the production uncomfortable for Loren. She admitted that it was difficult to work with him afterwards. Gene Kelly's Singin' in the Rain co-star Debbie Reynolds revealed that the twosomes' working relationship was more fraught than their on-screen rapport. She wrote in her memoir, "He came to rehearsals and criticized everything I did and never gave me a word of encouragement." Reynolds continued that when it was time to shoot the kissing scenes with Kelly, things got even more uncomfortable, writing, "Gene took me tightly in his arms and shoved his tongue down my throat. Ew, what was that?" I screeched, breaking free of his grasp and spitting. And to make matters a bit more awkward, Reynolds was just 19 at the time while Kelly was 37. Reynolds went on to write, "I was an innocent kid who had never been French kissed. It felt like an assault." Behind the scenes of 1983's Terms of Endearment, there were rumors about how tension between Shirley MacLaine and Deborah Winger manifested on set in some very strange ways. During an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Winger was asked about rumors that she tried to pass gas towards MacLaine or that she licked her leg while the latter was trying to film a love scene with Jack Nicholson.
Was any of that true?
You mean you want to just go in there and say, is there something true in there?
Yeah.
There's something true in there.
Despite the fighting, the duo of acting greats still holds each other in high regard, at least professionally, with Winger telling the New York Times, "I can't deny that we fought, but I think there was always a respect between the two of us." The grudge match between Hollywood icons Bette Davis and Joan Crawford is so legendary that it was turned into a TV show in 2017 aptly titled Feud, Betty and Joan. So what was the issue? Well, a lot of things. The two reportedly fought over nearly everything, including lovers, movie roles, fame, and parenting, all before ever working together. It all came to a head when the duo starred alongside each other in 1962's Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Entertainment Weekly writes that Davis once said, "The best time I ever had with Joan Crawford was when I pushed her down the stairs." In a scene in which Davis was supposed to fake kick Crawford in the head, she actually did make contact and it resulted in 3 stitches. But Crawford got her revenge during a scene where Davis had to pull her out of bed. Crawford secretly wore a heavy weightlifter's belt under her costume, knowing that Davis had a bad back. Even when Crawford died in 1977 of a heart attack, the fight lived on. Upon hearing of her rival's passing, Davis allegedly said, "You should never say bad things about the dead, only good. Joan Crawford is dead. Good." Kenny Baker and Anthony Daniels, better known as their iconic characters R2-D2 and C-3PO respectively, weren't as close as their iconic on-screen bond made it seem. Baker has publicly said that Daniels disrespected him on set by calling him insulting names. Daniels responded to the claims, telling his side of the story in 2019 to the Daily Express, saying, "Kenny decided that he wanted to say unkind, unpleasant, rude, hurtful things. It got worse and worse." When the suits came on, however, it was all business and easy to put aside their differences. Daniels explained, "The fact is, we didn't really appear or interact together. He was in a box he couldn't do anything with. He couldn't hear me. He never made a sound." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite on-screen partners are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.